Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world. Talked about the team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. Well, it happened. And it happened exactly how I said it would if we played a certain way. I said, if we don't run the football, if we don't control the clock, if we don't wear down this Dallas Cowboys defense, we will lose this game handily. If we rely on Gino Smith out there throwing the ball around the field and we don't use our number 6 overall pick, we are not going to win this game. Ashton Genty got 6 carries and 6 receptions for a grand total of 12 touches from a running back. He had 6 carries for 7 yards, and that's with a long of 11. So he got -4 yards on the other 5 carries. I'm starting to really wonder what is going on here. I heard some things from the Pete Carroll press conference that I really didn't like, and I'm going to hop on. I'm going to show that in a second. The bad guys lose 33-16 at home on Monday Night Football. And Gino Smith threw the ball 42 times. The actual stats of the game doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. 42 passes for Gino Smith is absolutely ridiculous. But the problem is, you're going to hear it was part of the game plan. It was in the game plan to throw the ball this much. It was in the game plan to give the ball and put the ball into Geno Smith's hands. That was the game plan. Instead of using your number 6 overall pick. Pete Carroll is not going to play young players. He's going to play the vets. He's not going to go out there and play young players and see what he has and give him experience. And he's not going to do that. He's not going to try to mix them in. Again, Charles Grant is active but didn't play a snap. You can't run like a heavy package and put him in there just to see what he's got. I don't know, man. It's a stark difference from what I've known of Pete Carroll in the past. And we deserve better. Kyle Blue Kelly was out there getting torched. He played 27 snaps. He was targeted 6 times for 6 receptions, 87 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Oh, and he missed 2 tackles. These are the guys that are the ones that should play, right? These are the guys that are good enough to play. So there's a big difference that we're looking at here. Very similar to I knew we were in trouble. Honestly, I knew we were in trouble when I was looking at the game plan, and I was looking at the inactives, and I see that Caleb Rogers was inactive. So I'm thinking to myself, what is going on here? Is he that bad? Is he that unprepared? So you have to ask yourself, okay, it's one of 3 possibilities, and I tweeted this out. It's one of 3 possibilities, or a combination of it. It could be 2, could be all 3. Number 1, Pete Carroll doesn't want to play young guys. He doesn't want to play young players. Doesn't want to play them. It's possible. Number 2, Caleb Rogers isn't ready. And if Caleb Rogers isn't ready, that's a coaching issue. Because you've had a half a season to get him ready to play. 3rd round pick. 3rd round picks should be contributors to your team. That's why when people are like, oh, we only got a 3rd. No, 3rd round pick is big. That they should contribute. Maybe not start, but they should contribute. Especially when the player in front of them is hurt. Ridiculous. 3rd one is he's just not good enough. We're trying our best to get him up there, to get him up to speed, and he's just not good enough. Well, that's a scouting issue then. because you thought he was good enough to be a third-round pick, and you picked him, and he's not. Either way, we're failing. We're failing right now. We're failing Raider Nation. The team is failing Raider Nation right now. And when we take a look at what Pete Carroll said in his press conference, I'm going to play it in a second, it's heart-wrenching because, I mean, you know what? Instead of talking about it, let's just hear it. There's Pete Carroll. We're about maybe 10 seconds in when we get it. Pete Carroll press conference.
Got us out of balance run pass-wise. I know that, but we had so many good opportunities, and Gino was able to find his guys on the actions and all that it got us in the red area, and then we didn't function well. And we got sacked a little bit. We got hit a little bit, and didn't work out. I was really disappointed that we didn't stop them more. There was a space in that game. There were 3 or 4 drives in a row, and we couldn't get off the field. And it wasn't all third down stuff. They did a nice job. They have a really good offense, and they do a nice job with it. Obviously, Pickens was really a problem for us. And it wasn't just when he caught it; it was his after catch stuff that really was impressive. That he was able to run through us like that. I'm just surprised that we weren't able, because we knew he was a good player. We went in to defend him. We rolled to him. We covered him. We doubled him a couple times, and he still came through. So he had a heck of a night. And I don't even know Dak's numbers, but he must have had a pretty good night himself. 25-33, so he was on it. So very difficult night for us. Sorry about it. I feel bad.
Pete, you mentioned that the balance got out of whack there a little bit. It was 31 dropbacks in that first half, 3 runs. Is that? I mean, I can't imagine that that's something that you like to look at.
Yeah, it wasn't 31 dropbacks. It was a bunch of play action passes, and really, I really wanted to see us do that. There's only one person to look at, it's me, because I was influenced on the game plan. I loved the way we were chunking them, and we made big plays. But I knew what was happening, and Chip and I knew what was going on, but we were trying to stay with it and to see if we could continue to get the big plays, which we were getting, and then we just stalled in the red zone, and unfortunately, and we got the second drive, I think it was, or maybe it was the first drive, we get sacked a couple times, right off back to back, and it kind of got us out of whack a little bit. But I don't really care about pleasing people with our run pass mix. I'm trying to move the football, and we wanted to get the ball to Brock a bunch and see what he could do and our other guys, and that kind of worked out. But when you come back to it, we're supposed to be ahead with that approach, and then we're supposed to come back and run the football in the second half and then later in the second quarter. But our inability to get in the zone and to stop them, it didn't work out that way. So I'm totally responsible for how that happened.
Pete, just what went into the decision to start Will Penham and Sinham and shift Jordan at right guard?
The competition during the time with this week and what's been happening the last 2 weeks, we've been looking at it. We tried combinations. We looked at all of it and felt like that was the best way we could go. Jordan had a really solid season at guard last year, and he felt really comfortable moving. And so we tried. We tried Caleb. You guys were following that, and we looked at some different combinations, and this was the best way we thought to do it.
And just a follow-up to that, is this a permanent change to offense?
We're one day at a time right now on those kinds of choices. We'll come back tomorrow, see the film, see what happened, and look at our options.
The decision not to dress Caleb, are you kind of getting to the point where maybe it's time to go see some of those young players like
I think that's your guys' way of thinking. That's not our way. We're trying to win games. We're trying to do the best and win the games. And I kind of thought that might come up. I don't know how to coach that way.
Pete, when you look at this offense and all the changes that came in the offseason, if there isn't some type of changes, is there a concern that you can send the message that there isn't accountability for the offense and it's being anemic?
I don't have a chance at understanding what that question was. So try it again, please.
Yes, sir. Is there a concern with all the changes that were made to the offense this season to fix how bad it was last year, and it's still struggling, that if you don't make changes to your offense, there's going to be concerns that it's not being held accountable like other areas of the team?
No, I don't. It's the last part of that question that I don't even know how to address. We're gonna take a look at everything we're doing, and which is what we do on a week to week, day to day basis. And we don't know. That's the only way you do it. So. As you're looking at this question to project in the future how we're going to look back at how we didn't get anything done, I really don't have a good answer for you. But every step we take, and I took accountability. This is my football team, and I had a chance to do something on offense in this game, and we went after it. And some of it was promising, and some of it didn't work out in balance wise. And the score, because we couldn't stop them, it knocked us kind of out of whack a little bit the way we want to go about it. So, that's how it goes, and we're trying to do it right, and we'll keep working at it. There is a lot of guys that did play last year on this team in the offense. It's pretty much the same group up front, with the guys that are banged up, not so. But until this past week, without Colton, we have the guys that we've had, and so we're hoping that they're going to continue to grow and grow together. There's some youth in there and some inexperience that we're dealing with and trying to figure out how to bring our guys along. We would love to see Caleb play, and we would love to see Charles play, but it hasn't happened that way. They've got to show it in practice and show us that they're ready. We're not ignoring it at all. We're paying attention to it, but that's just part of the rigors of a season, and particularly a difficult season. And your questions are warranted, and I have no problem with that. But I don't have answers for all of them.
Pete, I was wondering, just due to like having two starters in your offensive line out with injuries, how much did that impact the decision to be more pass heavy in this game instead of on the run?
I thought we really pass protected really well in the play action game. Look at it. We got sacked 3 sacks on drop back passes. So that was part of, we wanted to make sure that we were taking them into account by using the action passes. Okay. And so that's a way to play ball. And it's always part of our football. We just emphasized it more so to try to help them, and so as we look at it, we'll figure it out, when we can, when we can't. I always want to run the football more, but I don't care about when we run the football more. I like to win the games, get ahead, and kill it in the fourth quarter and run it 15 times in the fourth quarter. We haven't had that opportunity because we're not ahead. So, you guys know I've been doing this for a long time, and those thoughts and approaches, that's in the books. We've done it that way for a long time, and we're just not getting the chance because we're not ahead in the game, and we got to get out ahead. Okay. That was a great question. I just couldn't figure out how to answer it.
All right. So, a couple of things here. Your plan was to get ahead with the passing game and then run the football late. So, you don't have confidence in your offensive line, because he said we were trying to protect the guys, so we call more pass. So you don't have confidence to run the ball early in the game, but you have confidence in the team to run the ball late in the game when you haven't run the ball early in the game. That doesn't make sense. I can understand if Pete Carroll says, yeah, this was the best combination of the patchwork offensive line that we can have, that we can put out there. This is the best combination. Okay, that's fine. Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant aren't ready yet. Okay, I can accept that too. But to throw the ball 42 times with Gino Smith, it doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't. Because as a guy who played on the offensive line, I always was much more comfortable firing out because I know what I'm going. Look, offensive linemen love to run block, okay? Because they're moving forward. They know where they're going. They know where they're supposed to go. Everything is flipped when you pass block, because you're moving backwards and you don't know what stunt's coming. You don't know where the game is coming. So you know where you're supposed to stand and what your assignment is, but you don't know what the defense is going to do. Flipped around. That's why I don't understand that. Also, talk about, I have to commend Hondo Carpenter, because Hondo Carpenter tried his best to ask a question. Now, what he was really asking about the offense not having accountability is Geno Smith not having accountability. Basically, what Hondo Carpenter was asking him when Pete was like, I don't know how to answer that question. What he wanted to ask was, if you're all about competition and you're all about putting the best people out there and the product stinks, right? This offense stinks. Your leader of your offense is Geno Smith, and he stinks, okay? How often are you going to keep throwing him out there if he stinks? How often are you going to keep throwing Geno Smith out there to run a terrible offense if you're preaching accountability and you're preaching competition? Is it all about practice? Is that it? Well, he showed us he can do it in practice, so we want to see him doing the game. And he's not doing it, but he's looking great in practice. I just think he needs to come out and ask it. Maybe that's why I'm not a reporter. Maybe that's why, I have to create my own content, because nobody wants me to create content for them, because I get myself into trouble. Because I would ask that. I said, you know what? Geno Smith really hasn't been playing well. His stats aren't great. And the main stat that counts is points. That's the main stat that counts, right? And he's not been doing a great job of putting up points. We're one of the worst teams in the red zone, probably the worst team in the red zone in scoring touchdowns. So how good can we expect Geno Smith to be if he's shown you with this collection of players that this is who he is? What kind of improvements are you looking for if you have, 10 games worth? You have 10 games worth of information showing you that Geno Smith, with this collection of this group of players, is not good in the red zone, is not good at putting up points. That's the accountability. That's the competition. Is there nobody else on this team that can play quarterback? Is it Geno Smith or bust? That's the question to ask. Are you holding Geno? And he's like, well, we're scrutinizing everything. Sure, man. It sounds good. It sounds like it sounds like the right thing to say. But then when you take a look at it, it really isn't. Look, if you're Pete Carroll, you're riding or dying with Geno Smith. The sun rises and sets on with Geno Smith, because you traded a 3rd round pick and paid this man a lot of money. If you bench him, you're basically benching yourself for next season. So you have to roll with him, and you have to see what happens. Speaking of Geno Smith, he was also at the podium. Let's hear what Geno Smith had to say.
Gino, you guys were moving the ball, especially in that first quarter, in that first half. What were the bog downs that were happening once you guys get into the red zone?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to score touchdowns in the red zone. I mean, it's that simple. They were playing coverage, pretty much playing Tampa 2, just backing up, kind of daring us to run the ball some of those times. And, we took our shots and we didn't convert. And we all got to play better. I got to do better, and got to be better for the guys.
Gino, how did Pete Carroll say he had some influence in the game plan? Him and Chip want to be more pass and play action heavy tonight. Just what were your thoughts on the overall game plan going into this game?
I thought we moved the ball well. I thought we moved the ball up and down the field. I thought we started out pretty good. I think we punted the ball maybe once or twice. I think the only thing that, I can say from, obviously I haven't watched the film yet, but we've got to convert in the red zone. I don't know what our 3rd down percentages were, but I felt like we could have done better on 3rd downs as well, keep some drives alive. That's really what I saw. I thought the game plan was fine. I thought the plays were there. Guys were open. We just got to make more plays.
Gino, you referenced them daring you guys to run the ball. In the first half, there was 31 passes, 3 sacks, but 28 passes and only 3 runs. Do you have the liberty when they're daring you to do that, to check into a run or to audible into a run?
Yeah, I mean, you can check into any play at any time, but would that be the right thing to do? Would you just go off script and just start calling your own plays? I don't think that's the right way to go about it. I think the right thing to do is to do what we practice and what we're coached to do. And like I said, the plays are there. I don't think there was any issue with the play calling. The plays are there. Guys are open. You guys watch the film. I know we got a lot of Monday morning quarterbacks. who like to watch film and take screenshots and see where guys are open. So I'm sure you guys will see where the guys were open. For me, again, I just got to play better. And I keep saying this, man. If something don't look right out there, blame it on me, right? If it don't look right, blame it on me. That's all you can do. Blame it on me. If your kids mess up at school, blame it on me. Car break down going to work, blame it on me.
Gino, it's tough on the fly sometimes to implement new offensive linemen, moving players, but how do you feel like that operation went tonight with Will at center and moving Jordan to guard?
Yeah, I thought Will and Jordan did a fine job. I thought they competed their butts off. Again, they were, up against a really tough front. I mean, they got great guys on that side of the ball, especially in the interior. But I thought they did a great job at just, competing and giving me as much time as they could. A few plays broke down here and there, but for the most part, I was able to, set my foot and get the ball off. And that's really all you can ask from the guys, especially with Will, his first start and Jordan moving to guard. And, we're already down Colton. It's tough, and with offensive linemen, you want continuity. So those guys have just got to keep working. And I'm going to keep, leaning on those guys and keep, preaching positivity to those guys. I know the world wants to get so negative, but I'm going to keep preaching the positivity to those guys because they work hard and they deserve, all the great things in the world.
Any other questions, guys?
Gino, this is the second straight game where a ball was tipped and led into the interception. When it happens in that way, how frustrating is that?
It's very frustrating, but it is what it is. And it's an interception at the end of the day. And, like I said, I'm never going to find an excuse. There's been a bunch of, tip passes that have, gone into the wrong hands, but that's just how, football works sometimes. And I don't think that one play was the difference in the game. I think there were a lot more plays that we could have made that would have given us a better shot. But again, anytime you turn the ball over, it's a negative thing and you don't want it. So put that solely on me. I got to do better. Guy made a play, ball tips up. Got Johnny on the spot, and I got to find ways to not have a turnover in the game, which I will.
Gino, you said it's on you. You need to execute. You need to do better. But what do you initially assess when you look at the game? What can you do better? What can the team do better to be able to execute, to be able to score in the red zone?
Great follow up.
Make the plays when they need to be made. I mean, it's really all it comes down to. It's a tough game. It's the NFL, and there's great guys all over the field, but we know when we get into the red zone, we've got to think 7 points and not 3. And our defense gave us the ball with the short field. We got to capitalize on that. If we want to talk about playing complementary football, when those things happen, we got to score 7 points and reward the defense for doing a great job. But today, we early on we settled for some field goals, and then they scored some touchdowns, and the game kind of got out of hand. But I think if we score touchdowns in those situations, we may look at it different. So for us, we just got to have that mindset and then obviously get it done.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that was Gino Smith, and that was tough, man. That was tough to watch because I'm trying to find positives to talk about here. And what we're looking at here is you got a running back, number 6 overall, and you're not using him. But your game plan is to – let me wrap my head around this. Your game plan is to run the ball after you have a lead that your quarterback is supposed to give you throwing the ball against a defense that turns the ball over through the air. They get a lot of interceptions, but they're terrible against the run. And your quarterback leads the league, or second. Now I think he's tied for first again in interceptions. And that's the plan. Your plan is to put the ball in the hands of the player who turns the ball over the most in the NFL against a defense that is giving up almost 150 yards a game on the ground, but can intercept the football with the plan of using your number 6 overall pick more after you have a lead. That's what I'm getting. And it just doesn't make sense, guys. If it makes sense, just comment below, because I don't know. I don't think this makes sense. I don't think this makes sense. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know, man. This is a bad loss, not just because we lost, but how we looked when we lost. We looked out of sync, out of sorts. The red zone is a major issue, a major issue. We want to. I don't understand the logic behind running a lot of play action, which takes more time when you're not running the football. So the play action really doesn't mean anything because you're not running the ball. It's not really fooling these guys. And you're turning your back to the defensive line that your offensive line is having a hard time blocking. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I've tried to listen. I try to piece things together. And Gino Smith saying, yeah, it's all on me. Blame it on me. And then he started saying the kids go bad at school. Blame it on me. You have a bad day at work. Blame it on me. That's him not taking accountability because he's making a joke out of, yeah, whatever is the problem, it's not really my fault, but you can blame it on me. Whether it's your kids doing bad at school, whether it's you get in a fight with your wife, or you have a bad day at work, or your car breaks down, or we lose a football game, it's not my fault, but just blame it on me. Terrible. Absolutely awful. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I can get behind the fact that, yes, we put a bunch of combinations of players together, and this was the best offensive line. This was the best five. I get that. I can understand it. Maybe I don't agree, but I understand where he's coming from, and he's been in the practice, so that's fine. But ultimately, the proof is in the pudding, man. How often are you going to let this happen, do the same thing over and over again, and look at the results before you start really trying something new? Maybe what you're seeing, maybe you're being fooled. Maybe your eye isn't as good as it was before. But ultimately, I mean, if you're the coach, you have to trust what you see. It's just a tough situation for everyone in Raider Nation, man. And I hope you guys are still pulling through and not giving up on us. It's maybe not making the playoffs or anything this year because we're not. But just continue to cheer on our guys because they're out there trying their best. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's the next way to support the channel. It's absolutely free. On top of that, we have the Shield Society. Shield Society is cool, man. It's only $5 a month. Get some freebies and get some perks. If you want to do it, cool. It's $5. I would appreciate it. If not, or if you don't want to, that's fine too. I'm still giving you a video every single day. All I ask in return is for you to tell your friends, tell your haters, tell your mamas, tell everybody Raiders versus the world is the greatest and going to Raider Nation today. All right, guys, that's my time. Till next time, everybody. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button. Drop a comment. Make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.